Back in 2020, at the height of the protest sparked by the murder of George Floyd, a lot of companies and organizations began to take a look at how they were treating people of color. Was there racism or inequities? And if so, how could they be addressed? Many organizations decided to dedicate more resources towards diversity, equity, and inclusion, even setting up entire departments around that effort. Now, we're a little more than 3.5 years out, and not all of those efforts have held up. Last week, Clackamas County decided to defund its Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Office. The office was created in July of 2020 when all those other diversity efforts were set up. But earlier this year, when the county was debating its budget, County Commissioner Mark Schull said he did not think the DEI office was needed. He said that as a country, we already figured out how to deal with racism back in 1964.
When it comes to issues regarding the color of skin, race, gender, national origin, and religion, we have the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which people of color, white people, died to bring to the Congress of the United States. And I believe that the Constitution of the United States, as amended, and the Civil Rights Act of 1964 is what we need to live by.
Schull said he thinks Clackamas County itself has already solved racism and inequality.
It's my observation that this county does treat people with equality. I believe that our Human Resources Department is capable of operating solely under the Constitution of the United States as amended and the 1964 Civil Rights Act. I do not support any allocated funds to support equity, inclusion, and diversity.
The DEI office in Clackamas County had a budget of about $828,000. It had 3 full-time employees, but starting next week, those employees will move to other departments. County Administrator Gary Schmidt announced that the DEI office will no longer exist. Instead, a county compliance officer position will be added to a separate office to make sure the county is complying with laws around discrimination and harassment. And he said that any problems should be reported to HR. Many people were upset by the change, including Clackamas County's clerk, Catherine McMullen. She sent a letter to residents, writing in part, "The county's ability to serve all Clackamas County residents will be diminished, and our overall efforts to create a better, more inclusive community will be harmed. I do not agree with this decision." Her message continues, "To ignore equity and inclusion is to ignore who we are today and ignore the strengths and richnesses that makes us who we are." But Schull said he thinks DEI efforts hurt more than they help.
I take exception to equity, inclusion, and diversity. What I've seen is that it foments tension. And I personally do not support 3.8 FTEs or the $828,403 that you have in your budget to pay for EID.
Commissioner Schull, by the way, has made headlines for his comments on race in the past. He compared vaccine requirements to Jim Crow laws and COVID-19 to the Holocaust. And he had to apologize for racist posts on social media against Muslims. But we'd love to hear from you. What do you think? Are diversity, equity, and inclusion offices necessary? Why or why not? Let us know, will you? Send us an email. The address is thestory@kgw.com or call and leave a voicemail 503-226-5090.